SiriusXM is where moments happen, and you'll find them here 24/7. In music, talk, sports, comedy, and news. Live and on demand. And they're on in your car, online, or on the app so you won't miss a thing. Visit SiriusXM.ca/never miss a beat. And just like that, another week has come and gone. It's Friday, folks. Thanks for joining us on another episode of CMA Connected. I'm your host, Ben Wu. And on CMA Connected, as you know, we highlight and dive deep with Canadian content, whether that's a shop, a dealer, distributor. This is what Canadian CMA Connected is all about. And on this special episode, we're going to kick it up a notch because we've got some things to celebrate. You know, the Canadian industry is a small community. I've been fortunate enough to be in it since the late 90s. You know, I haven't always been completely immersed in the 12 volt, but it's always been there. It started off my career and I find myself back in it. And I'm grateful for that. And what a great time to be a part of mobile audio right now. You know, when Frank Spezzano and I put together these episodes, we always try to be mindful of, you know, those that are pioneers and those that have really left a mark and have built the infrastructure of the industry and what it is today. And today's focus is on one of those brands, one of those companies that have literally been there before we even got started. I mean, we did the math between Frank and myself and all the projects that we've done in our career. We have over 30 years of relationship and experience with this company, and I can't be more happy to have them on today and get to know their story and give them an opportunity to thank who they need to thank, but most importantly for us to enjoy the history and the story that we're about to receive from these folks today. So without further ado, of course, today we're talking about celebrating 30 years of business for Trends Electronics based out of Vancouver, British Columbia. And listen, I know a lot of the story. I saved it. I didn't want to get into it too much because I want to learn along with you. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guests. First and foremost, we're going to bring on a gentleman who's been with us before. He's their director of mobile audio over at Trends. Of course, that gentleman is Grant McFadder. How you doing, Grant?
Good morning, Ben. Or good afternoon for you, my friend. How are you doing?
Oh, it's doing great. And yes, it is afternoon for me. I'm on the East Coast. You're on the West Coast. But you know what? The guys in the middle get to do lunch while you're just getting out of breakfast. And I'm like way past lunch. But that's all good. Grant, we had the opportunity to sit down with you a while back and talk about your iConnect brand. And that was fantastic. And we got a glimpse of a product that, you know, Trends was 100% behind developing and executing and producing and now distributing. But today we're gonna take even more step back and take a look at Trends Electronics from like 10,000 feet in the air and take a look back. Before I get the big boss on, how long have you been at Trends, Grant?
February 4th will be the start of my 17th year here. So
you are no stranger to the culture of Trends Electronics.
No, it's embedded in my blood. I think if I cut myself, there's little Trends Halo things come out instead of. So
you've basically been there since you were a teenager.
Oh yeah, well before. I started when I was 5.
So I mean, for those that don't know, obviously our audience is very 12 volt oriented, but Trends Electronics, obviously heavily rooted in mobile audio 12 volt, but obviously the business has expanded. We're going to get into that, but you are strictly in charge of the mobile division, right?
Mobile division. I do some custom retail products and also in charge of the Bluetooth division and OEM. We'll talk a little bit about that. We've started up an OEM division last year, which has been very successful for us. So,
well, it sounds like a very dynamic situation to be in, and obviously, we're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. Why don't we bring in the boss man himself? So, for the purpose of this conversation, because we happen to have one Ben and two Grants, you may hear me refer them to G1 and G2. So, if you're okay, Grant McFadder, that we refer to you as G2 in this scenario.
Oh, you have to, because G1's the boss. He gets the ranking.
The boss man. So we're going to bring him on. Here we go. Mr. Grant Daoust. Welcome to the show, Grant.
Hi, everybody. Happy Friday in Canada.
Yeah, it is Happy Friday in Canada. Grant, I tried to sit down and take notes of how I was going to intro, this episode, because this episode is pivotal. It is certainly something that doesn't happen. It is a rare occasion. So I I didn't want to overdo it, but I did mean what I said in the beginning. You know, Frank and myself, man, we've known you for so long. We've done so many projects, and it's been in and out and all that. But it's at the end of the day, you know, who's the person I've known the longest in this business? It'd be Grant Daoust. No doubt about it.
No, it's been a fun time, and I think we all grew up together in this business, so it's fun.
Absolutely,
still fun.
You know, we're not going to make this a 5-hour saga because there's that much we could cover, but there's no question I have to start from the beginning. For those that don't know, you know, some of our listeners might be discovering you for the first time. I doubt it, but it may be the case. Why don't we take us back to the very beginning? How did Trends start?
Well, way back in the late 1980s, I was a sales rep on the road. Actually, at that time, I was working with Aerolex Acoustics, developing Soundstream, Acoustic, Unga Box, all these lines on the road. And Mitch Irving and I, Mitch is no longer with us. We founded Trends in 1990. We moved into a small location of about 1,200 square feet in North Vancouver, scared to death. And, we decided that we were going to kick off and really develop the 12-volt accessory market. So we really started to have, that's our original logo there. I actually drew that on a napkin somewhere. So that's kind of how we start businesses these days. And that's a picture in Jamaica with Mitch and I, like 1 or 2 years into the business. We started by building high-end accessories and, got into Phoenix Gold electronics and bazooka bass tubes, and just did a ton of business our first year, and actually grew out of our small location and had to move and break a lease. And from there, it's been nonstop. It's just been, many years of developing car audio. We got on the custom home bandwagon early and jumped on to Sonance and had that line for over 25 years. And so we're kind of pioneers in the industry. And that's kind of why we called ourselves Trends, is we knew that the industry was going to change over the course of, every other year we have to reinvent ourselves, it seems. And, Trends was a good name and still is today.
There's no doubt about that. I showed that picture of you and Mitch, and like you said, that was right in the beginning. So I just want to clarify, Trends was founded in 12-volt, right?
We were, yeah. 12-volt is in our blood. Like a lot of good people in the industry, we come from 12-volt because that's where we were taught a lot of engineering things. We were taught about acoustics. We were taught about how to do proper voltage, and the industry is full of good people. Loving it.
Kind of like Daryl Dahl, who's saying you're looking good, son.
Oh, I miss Daryl. Hey, Daryl, have a cool suit on today. I love his suits.
Custom shirts, man.
I miss CES with Daryl Dahl.
So Trends founded on the foundation of 12-volt, and you mentioned a key brand that, literally brings me goosebumps. Yeah. Phoenix Gold. So how did Phoenix Gold come into play, and why was that such a big deal for your departure?
I think a lot of it was having the right product at the right time. We had really good cable. It was good 100% copper and a lot of custom made distribution blocks made in the USA. In those days, they used to actually make it in Portland, Oregon. And then when they got into amplifiers, they hired a really good team of people and built these badass 2x50 watt amplifiers that actually sold for $1,000. If you think about that, there's a 2125, yeah. And that would have cost about $1,500 when it came on the market for 2x125 watts with no crossover or nothing. You've got a level control. That's all you would have, and you'd have to set up your own crossovers for it.
We just came off a broadcast on live. And it was Derek Williston from Williston Audio Labs, the guy that tests all the labs online. And he had said, you know what, the industry's changed so much. These new guys coming in, they think amps are expensive. They're like, the price per watt compared to the first gen when we started in car audio is another, a completely different thing.
We used to look at guys that would buy a Honda Civic, and 88 teal blue Honda Civic, right? And they would put a system in it that's worth more than a car, and that was how the industry began.
I think that was normal. That was normal in the 90s.
It was normal in the 90s, and we actually found out very quickly that people had a problem with voltage. When they put these big amps in, the lights would dim and the dash would flash, and so we had to really teach people about upgrading their electrical system to a better alternator and batteries and capacitors and all kinds of stuff to keep those amplifiers on, because they were not class D back then. They were class A, B, and they were current pigs.
They just sucked it all up, and there's no doubt that your foundation, like I said, certainly was built on Phoenix Gold. I mean,
I love
it. This is the heyday of car audio, and obviously there's a wall to show all the the accolades, and I want to talk. What is this culminating in?
That's actually the 20th year anniversary of Phoenix Gold, where they made that custom amplifier and put our name on it and said thank you for your support. And back in those days, we were 15% of their worldwide business, so we were a very important customer to them. The guy in the middle, Keith Peterson, is the founder of Phoenix Gold. I still talk to that guy every other day. He's sitting in Panama right now going scuba diving. He's 70 years old, and he has not left the industry. He is a big part of our industry in China for manufacturing, actually.
Okay. So obviously building off the success of Phoenix Gold, you're now starting to, get your footprint down in the Canadian marketplace. I remember a big involvement with competitions, because that was really big back then.
Absolutely. It started off like we would do sound quality, and we'd do all areas like Car Audio Nationals, which Alpine started, and a group of other people. It was actually really big at the beginning, and it became a rule book that you could follow. And then as we got through the late 1990s, it became crazy about SPL drag races. It was like, two cars, who's the loudest. And we did an event called Slam Jam, which, Grant McFadder is well aware of. And, we did these to see who had the loudest car. We give away $10,000 and for the loudest car in Canada. And we'd have regional events and have hundreds of people attend. And, across the country, it was a booming business. And it was fun. Doing all these parking lot events is really what built the enthusiasts and the people that are still in. We're getting guys like Mo saying Slam Jam was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mo, because you are like the head judge for the world. So I totally remember you.
Yeah, I was going through my garage a few weeks ago, and I found a box of old Slam Jam score sheets.
You mean like that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, exactly.
And look at all those people. Like, we'd have events in Calgary. We had a final in Kamloops one year. We did one in Ontario at the Lakeside. And I think that's where Frank got really hooked on this industry, he told me, is when he went to Confederation Park and watched all these people going crazy over car audio. And, what was great is you guys kept that going. When you did the hot import nights and other events across Canada. So those are fun. Like, man, that.
It brings me back just seeing that crowd gathering for something as simple as cardio. I mean, think of that. That hasn't happened in many years. I sometimes wish that we could bring that back to sorts. And you're right. It evolved over time, and I think there's still that following for sure. But obviously, the business has changed. And I think this is a great segue to kind of talk about how you now build trends in this next era. So let's
during the last few years, obviously we got really involved in custom installation. Like behind me, you see invisible speakers in my wall. That's a big category for us. That's where we actually, a lot of our customers in that area are still came from car audio, and they're still in the industry, and they're running multi-million-dollar businesses. And I look at 12 volt right now. This is actually, there's never really been a better time to have music in your car. And the reason I say that is when we are now able to get uncompressed music downloaded to our phone on apps like Tidal and whatnot, on demand, and you can have any song anywhere, anytime. And to me, this is the most exciting time for 12 volt going forward. And I think people now have a reason to spend money on their cars, on their boats, and other things. And we actually witnessed one of our best years ever in 2020, just because of the boom of the industry and people hanging around and doing their boats and ATVs and brands like Wet Sounds and MTX have done extremely well the last 12 months, and cable is selling like crazy. And if you can tell, McFadder will tell you that this has been the hardest thing lately is getting product, to be honest with you, because the Chinese cannot keep up to the supply that we're asking for.
Yeah, we've had some. We were talking to a vendor yesterday, and there was some orders we'd placed in July last year that still aren't shipping.
Yeah,
so it's crazy. I mean, we were lucky that for most of the last year we were had good stock. Grant, being the visionary he is, spent a lot of money up front, and in months like March, April, and May, when people were rolling back, Grant was spending money to keep all our guys employed, all our reps. We didn't lay off a single rep during COVID. We have a full rep force still.
We have our best team ever, honestly. Yeah. We have guys like Adele Gadella in Alberta. Everyone knows that name. He started with Trends, and he's back with us again. So it's kind of like getting the band back together. And we got guys like James Chevrette, a guy that was world champion, USAC. He's our rep in BC. And Trevor Kushner in Mansask, and we've just got a great talent pool across the country. So I'm really grateful that we're able to keep all these guys working and keep our internal staff working through the whole pandemic, and it paid off for us big time.
That is awesome news. I just want to bring up an image here. So for those who haven't had a chance to necessarily visit you guys at the mothership. That's it right there.
That was the previous mothership to this.
Oh, that's the previous mothership. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that was the one in North Van.
That's close.
The last time I visited you guys, Grant, I think you were on the other side of town. Could it be possible you were in Coquitlam?
We're in Burnaby now, actually. Yeah,
but you were, right? You were in Coquitlam. Yeah, that's where I last met you, visited you guys out west.
Yeah, we're down on Lougheed Highway, and we decided to move to the center of the city for logistics because, believe it or not, couriers would have trouble getting over the bridges of the North Shore. So we moved to the center of the city, which improved our logistics. And then, we added warehousing in 2 other locations in Canada now. So we're able to get product to market faster. So this is our strategy going forward.
I want to segue into something that I know you guys hold near and dear, and I'm going to go to G2 for this one. Obviously, your mantra has always been about service, obviously, and the selection of products that you mentioned and how you've developed the different categories and lanes that you offer. But product training. I know that's always been a big thing. G2, why don't you tell us a little bit about what product training means at Trends?
Well, I mean, training's always been important with Trends. I mean, when I was at a few retailers prior to coming on to Trends, it was always those guys that were coming in our store and training us on Phoenix Gold and MB Court and products like that. So when I came on board and was the rep probably for the first 4 or 5 years before I got into management side, that's one thing we did right from the get-go is we did cross-country tours. We felt like U2 on some years that, you're in Montreal one night, Toronto the next, and then you're off to Winnipeg and Edmonton and Calgary. So we did a number of tours over the years, and it helped build the brands we have. I mean, I think if you had to sum up what Trends is, we build brands. There's brands that start off with no name with us, and then by the time they either move on or we move on from them, that they're not push names, they're pull names, right?
I want to show an image, some images here of how serious you take it. I mean, look at that right there. That is your training education room that you've dedicated for training. Well, at the time when we were allowed to obviously bring customers in and all that, but obviously that's still there ready to go. I'm going to transition here. Maybe I'll go to G1 on this. What does this mean to you?
This is a big thing. As soon as the pandemic hit, we really looked at how we're going to get our message out. And, we quickly came up with this whole concept of Trends University. And, we started to run webinars and promote them big time. And, we've had guest speakers and town halls. We've had people like Andrew Jones, who's one of the best speaker designers in the world, do a town hall on this event. And we look forward to this platform is our future, actually. Doing webinars, doing product training, actually certifying people on certain products. We just love the whole concept of TrendView, and you'll see a lot of we're actually looking to collaborate with you guys on TrendView, and hopefully we can provide a lot of assistance to your website as well.
Well, I mean, that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to make sure we get the message out and have a platform for, distributors such as yourselves to connect with your clients on especially training type, topics. Okay, let's get to the now, guys. We got the history. It's 30 years in the making. Let's talk about the brands that Trends right now has in the arsenal, has in the portfolio. Maybe I'll go to G2 for this. Why don't you walk us through, the brands that Trends represents right now?
Probably our most successful brands last year were Wet Sounds and MTX. MTX was actually a really nice pickup with MyTech Canada closing late last year, or July last year officially, but from October of 2019 we got involved with those guys, and they have great products. I mean, due to the fact that most of their business in Canada was on their commercial division with the Atlas IED, their car audio took a bit of a neglection. So they've had great products. They still have great products, and when we met with them in Arizona in October of 2019, John Ivey sat with us and told us that his dad started with MTX, and he's going to give that a good solid run the next 5 years. So you're going to see a lot of new products from MTX going forwards. Starting at the end of Q1, Q2, I think there was 7 different product categories that they're expanding on for this year.
And we already see it. I mean, we start seeing it. We'll put it online, especially in the power sports categories. They're really expanded.
Yeah, I mean, our reps are focused on, like I said, we're focused on 12-volt big. It's about 45-50% of our overall business for the company. So it's a big category for us. So our reps put a good emphasis on it. They get out in the field, they talk to guys about it. We've done webinars on the products, but it's killer product. They've been around for a long time, and they're going to be showing up big time in 2021.
Okay.
With Wet Sounds, you want the biggest and baddest and the best. It is absolutely a beast. We've been with them for 15 years, almost since their inception. There was some distribution before we got involved with it, but we've been with them for 15 years, and it's a fantastic brand. It's expensive. It grows every year, like 30%. Every year, I think it's going to be flattened out. No, it comes around and proves me wrong every year. So that's another brand that's been phenomenal.
And they just built a 100,000 square foot facility in Texas.
Yeah, those guys there's going to be some fuel on the fire from those guys too. Those guys don't stop. They're innovating and developing products. I would hate to see how much money they spend on tooling in a year. The amount of new stuff they have coming is unreal. Aquatic AV is a nice little brand that we picked up a few years ago too. We originally picked it up for a marine head unit line, and it's quickly found out that their success is more on the Harley Davidson side.
I was just going to say, I actually haven't seen us run an article of an aquatic AV unit on a boat yet. I've seen a ton of them on bikes though.
Yeah, it's about 95% of our businesses on Harleys.
Yeah, there you go. Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
It's a plug and play. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and if you've got a 1998 to 2013 Harley Davidson, it's literally plug and play. There's no steering wheel control modules you need. You unplug it. There's no harness in the box, actually. It plugs into the factory Harley harness.
Wow.
And you're done. The hardest part of the install is taking off the fairing. So it's been a really nice line for us. It was a good find. We do Q Power for subwoofer enclosures. That was a kind of an aha moment for us. We sell lots of subwoofers, but everyone needs a box to put it in. So it was a natural to find something that was simple. I mean, a lot of our clients build their own enclosures, custom sub boxes, but there's also a lot of guys that just like to hit a price point and do some prefab stuff.
Absolutely. Obviously, on the higher end of things, one of the brands that I'm always excited to hear from, because I see them incorporating such awesome installs, the entire Moscone family of brands. Why don't you talk to us about that?
Yeah, Orca family of products for us was a nice pickup. Early in 2020, we partnered up with them. Those guys are nothing but great to work with. Nalika and the team down at Orca. We're doing Moscone, Gladen, Illusion Audio, and their Black Hole line of products as well. So it's a nice
Hole, is that
lineup
the
of
sound
products.
damping product?
Yeah, sound damping products. They have wraps and tapes for installers that use a lot of that product too. Sound deadening material. They have a product called Stuff and Mat and Tile for acoustic damping your acoustic enclosures and behind the speakers. They fix the rear standing wave of a speaker. But it's been a nice addition. All the products. I mean, there's going to be a big focus for all those brands this year. We just did they're actually yesterday and today they're doing their 2021 showcase on all their products. So Focal and all those brands that they do North America wide were all on there. So really good exposure to all those products in the last couple of days, and we expect a big year with those products this year.
I mean, they cover so much as far as quality and different configurations. And last but not least, a giant in the room that we already did cover through another Connected, and that's iConnex.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year last year with iConnex. We almost tripled our business in accessories in 1 year just with that brand. So the nice thing is we control it. We can do whatever we want with it. It's our brand. We work directly with the factory on the product. So there's a lot of quality control with our man on the ground there that can oversee it for us. Yeah. And it's pure copper. We've gone back to our roots with, we had CCA, like I mentioned in the podcast before, which was a fad, and I'm so glad it's gone. I mean, that's what trend started on, was good quality cables, and that's what we're going back to. So it's been a fantastic.
We did a little feature on Keith McCumber over there. It sounds good, and you saw his whole wall of iConnex, and seems to be the only cable he runs. So kudos on that. So let's just review here. So you've got MTX, which is what I call your mass brand, your mid-fi brand. A little bit of punch, a little power sports, all mixed in. A very wide offering. And then you have your higher end stuff in the Gladen, Moscone, Illusion offering, right? Drivers, DSP amplification. You've got your iConnex for accessories. You've got Wet Sounds for marine. You've got AV for both marine and for motorcycle, as we've now noticed. Is there anything else at this time that you may or may not? I'm trying to.
You're fishing, man.
I'm fishing. Is there anything else maybe that you might want to mention that's coming down the pipe?
Well, we have some OEM projects that we're working on that we'll probably be able to announce fairly soon. It's probably going to take about 4 months to get product out of China on the inventory side of things. So we don't want to announce things too early, but there's a lot of stuff in the works on the OEM side.
Yeah, and trends will be on the manufacturing and engineering side. And I will say one thing too. We've actually there's some Canadian government, IRAP is supporting us on some new technology that we've applied for to get patented and bring to the market. So we'll announce that in the future. Actually, it'll be really exciting.
So there's some exciting news coming down the pipe.
Technology company is where we're going.
Q1 end? What's the timeline on this?
We'll start to introduce product in the summer, and by the fall, probably by the next big Mira conference, we'll have something really exciting on the technology side that will really make sense with the mix of lines that we have now. It'll just absolutely tie everything together for us.
And we'll have some other product before then, but the future is bright. And again, Grant being a visionary, the man is looking 5-6 years down the road. He's not looking at the end of his nose on what's happening for business. It's what's coming down the road.
My nose is too long. I couldn't see the end of it.
That is almost 5 years down the road.
All right. So we've covered the lineup. We've covered a little bit of your history. Let's talk about, let's continue on the now. What do you see happening right now in the business, in the Canadian landscape of retail and trends? I use the word trends, of course. So, Mr. Trend, what are the trends that you see?
I think like all retailers, they're getting used to online, and it's going to go on for a while with this lockdown. So I think the retailers that are promoting their business, getting in front of the consumers on social media, like your platform, by the way, is very good, and promoting their business that way, and also talking about why people want better sound in their car and what they're going to get out of it is really important. And so I feel like more than ever, education is going to drive our industry. Technology that blends into the environment of the cars. Like we have product coming out for Teslas that we think is going to be really cool. So being able to put nice audio, plug and play into a Tesla and be efficient enough to work with the electrical system and not tax it, that's huge. Obviously, power sports is not going away. Record boat sales last year. Most boats that are being built this year are sold, so we know that's going to be good. Also, like Polaris and other ATVs, that is the future as well. And of course, in the other areas of our business, we're really deep into outdoor sound, and we want to kind of tie the boat to the shore and have like the party continues on the shore, obviously when we can do so, and really be able to broadcast from the boat to the shore and have a good sound system. So I'm kind of lending you some hints as to where we're going as far as wireless product goes.
And our friends at Wet Sounds have got a whole new line of products called Venue, which is an outdoor audio product. So if you like your Rev 8s, Rev 10s on your boat, you can continue that into your backyard and really make friends with your neighbors, because if you're not making friends, they're going to be enemies. It's a crazy new product. They're ready to launch it pretty much at the end of this month. They'll have full stock in Texas, so we'll be bringing that in shortly. Cool new product, and it ties in. With us, it made sense because we do 60% of our events is commercial and
residential
product. So it ties in with the 12-volt side as well. You got the guy with the $150,000 boat with the $20,000 audio system in it. He can have that same experience in his backyard.
And we're building gaming headphones too. That's another division. I mean, I'm wearing some right now. Gaming and conference, you'll see us heavily in that area as well. So
what I'm hearing here, gentlemen, is a relationship with Trends could even in its own right expand your own business that you have now, just based on the type of offering and the categories that you're offering. What message, Mr. Daoust, do you have for our viewers, especially maybe dealers that not necessarily doing business with you right now? What can you entice them? What message do you have for them to maybe take a closer look at you as a serious supplier for them?
The big thing they should note is we're 100% committed to the category. We believe in technology and best-in-class products, and we are very big into customer service. So for us, when a customer is not happy, we're not happy. So we believe we have our 5 points of Trends is we're a foundation of integrity, best-in-class products, win-win with our customer, and number one is relationships. So your relationship as a customer is the most important thing to us, more than any amount of profit we can make.
I'm going to take a moment here. That's a great segue. I want to read a little note here that was sent to us from Frank Spezzano, our executive producer. He says, it's a credit to Trends that so many key industry people have either worked for or have partnered with Trends at some point. They've always prided themselves on building relationships. They can clearly be considered a hub for the Canadian 12-volt industry.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you very much, Frank.
And Frank, thank you and Ben for doing this. This is a great format.
Yeah.
Ben does a great job of hosting, making it nice and easy. And Frank, you're in the back.
I'm just smoking mirrors, buddy. Don't make it more than it is.
But
I want to reach out to everybody in the industry. I mean, if you're a fellow supplier, this is our forum to support in Canada, and get on board and put these trainings together, because a few years ago we did the Car Audio Expo, and it almost killed me doing it. It was an amazing event and brought hundreds of people together. I mean, this is the future for us, is being able to promote on this site, and hopefully you'll see Ben and Frank doing events down the road, so where we can bring people out. So let's promote it. Let's promote this industry because we're responsible for it.
Thank you for those words, Grant. And like you, we have a couple things coming down the pipe that we'll be able to share with everybody quite soon. And just know that, when it comes to CMA and everything that we do it for you guys, the distributors. We do it for the listeners, which are the dealers, the installers. And we need to come together and and be on the same page, because there's so much change happening, whether it's technology or environment. These two factors are just on an ever-changing scale. So the more information that we can get out there, such as doing podcasts like this, I firmly believe the better we are. Let's just take 1 minute here. Grant McFadder, anybody you'd like to thank? You've been at Trends for a long time. Here's your opportunity to give any shout outs or high, fist pumps to.
Well, obviously the man in charge, he's not that much older than me, but I feel like he's a father figure to me. Like, seriously, no, I mean it all sincerely, Grant. You're not much older than me, but I look at you like a father figure. You're always looking at stuff. It blows my mind how you manage to juggle all these different thoughts in your head. If it was me, I'd be putting a bullet in the mouth. You are insane how much you can handle at any one time.
I want to also give a shout out. Like, we have an employee in our company, Paul McCann, who's been with us since day one. And this company does not run without a good integrator. I'm a visionary person. Paul's the integrator, and he has done an amazing job for 30 plus years. And we actually have a slogan around the office called Trends 2.0. And we started that just before the pandemic, when we started to upgrade our equipment inside, our servers, thinking about where we want to be over the next 10 years. And like, our biggest growth years are yet to come. And that's what makes this industry so exciting. And we've added people like Derek Collier, who a lot of people would know because he came from A&B Sound. Yep. He was at MyTech. He's the guy that was the front man at AVU, and he's on board with us as well. John Bartowiak, in charge of home audio. People would know that name. He's been with Aerolex for a number of years. And, I believe we just got a great talent pool right now. Amazing.
I think the most important thank you is actually the dealers out there, because without them, we got no business.
Absolutely.
I mean, those guys. I like to go out and get my hands dirty every now and again, and I'll work at stores whenever I can and help out, and it gets me. It just blows my mind how much the guys on the front lines have to know. I mean, we're not doing car audio anymore. We're doing lighting, tinting. Some guys are doing wheels and tires and car starters. The guys on the front lines are unbelievable how much they know.
Engineering.
Yeah, they basically need an engineering degree almost. Yep.
Yeah, and the install techs. I mean, the stuff they have to deal with now is crazy compared to what we were doing. 91 Honda Civics, you could do a deck for an antenna in 20 minutes. Now you can't even take the dash off in 20 minutes.
And consistently, the Canadian guys are in the top 10 at Mira. They're always there. Top 10 retailers, top 10 installers, all coming from Canada.
Here's one top guy right here saying he misses you guys.
Oh, Marty, love you, man. Yeah, awesome.
That's a man that's stepping up the game. He's stepping up his game big time.
That's it. Well, I'll tell you what, we're rounding out the hour here, but obviously on behalf of CMA and Frank Spazano and everybody here, we wish you guys the very best. 30 years. We just hope that continues, and we just love being associated with you guys and collaborating with you guys. But more so than that, I have a little message from a couple of people that you may not have realized. So let's go ahead and see who else wanted to say a word.
Hello, Grant. Just want to wish you and Trends Electronics congratulations on 30 years in this industry. Trends has been a leader for as long as I can remember. I think that Trends and myself broke into the industry at about the same time, back in the late 80s, very early 90s. We've worked together for many, many years, and dealing with you has been a pleasure. I'd also like to say that you've been a friend to me and a colleague for many, many years, and I don't know if I know anyone in this industry who has a heart as large as yours. I want to wish you all the best moving forward to many, many more years. Thank you.
Grant, all the guys. It's been a long time, and nobody's traveling, nobody's doing anything. We're not going to shows. It's crazy. But God, 30 years. You guys, you've done it 30 years. I remember when I would come down in the mid 80s and we'd do seminars and do Oralex training. And then you guys started Trends and then you did more training. Nobody did more training than you guys. Nobody. You were the leaders. Absolutely. And it was all fun times and enjoyable and interesting, and can't wait to do more. So you have a great and happy 30 years. And
hello, everybody, and hello, Team Trends. Congratulations on 30 years. What a wonderful accomplishment, milestone, and anniversary to be celebrating. When I think about the company that Mitch and Grant started 30 years ago and the company that it is today, in some ways, it's a very different organization. But in other ways, it's never forgotten what made it successful. Integrity being number one, but also the relationships that the company has. And I don't mean just the relationships with customers and dealers, but also with suppliers and manufacturers. Relationships are so important to Trends, and that's very apparent in the way that the company conducts itself in its day-to-day operations. It's part of the DNA of every employee within the organization. I love to see how the company has grown and continues to evolve even after Mitch's passing. It's going to be exciting to see how the company continues its growth over the next 30 years. So to everybody at Trends, congratulations. I raise a glass. Cheers, and I look forward to the next 30.
Just want to say congratulations to Grant and Trends Electronics for 30 years in business. Trends was one of the first companies that gave me an opportunity to when I opened my store in 1998 at Progressive Car Audio, and haven't looked back since. Phoenix Gold product, supported it as best as I could. Super guys, super company. Grant, I wish you another 30 years of success. All the best.
Hey, this is Tim White, one of the owners of Wet Sounds. Wanted to give a shout out to Grant Daoust at Trends. Trends has been one of our partners for going on 15 years, and we truly appreciate the relationship and the partnership we've had with Trends. So, Grant, happy anniversary.
And there you have it.
Fantastic.
There you have it.
My eyes are wet. This is really something. Thank you.
I don't really need to say anything else. I'm going to leave you with the last closing words, Grant.
It's actually been the most fun time of my life, and I do believe that the best years are ahead of us too. That's what makes this business so much fun, is that we got a great future to look forward to, and I'm really proud of the industry, and I'm proud of the fact that we all collaborate in this industry together. Like, we're not at each other's throats. We actually work together to make the industry as a whole better, and that's the most important thing to me. And I want to thank everyone in the industry. Thank you.
All right. Guys, that's it for that. Nothing else to be said. We're going to leave it on that note. Grant McFadder, Grant Daoust, once again, happy 30th anniversary.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
And we'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks, Ben.
Cheers.
There you have it, guys. A very emotional and a very important episode here of CMA Connected. We got lots more content coming your way. We got 3 Connecteds coming next week, but we are Friday today. So on that note, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, I'm your host, Ben Wu, for CMA Connected. Until next time, we connect.